Episode 67, A Big Decision.
This is the One Extraordinary Marriage Podcast, home of the 7 Days of Sex Challenge, featuring your hosts, the authors of the groundbreaking new book, Stripped Down, Tony and Elisa DiLorenzo.
Welcome back to One Extraordinary Marriage, where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of intimacy. You're here with Elisa DiLorenzo.
And Tony DiLorenzo.
And this is our vacation podcast.
Yep.
We are actually recording this early.
Because Elisa really wanted to get one out to you guys.
Well, it's habit.
And
I would hate for anybody, especially those of you that I know, like question how early he's going to post it. I would hate for you to wake up Tuesday morning and have it not be there.
Understand. I'm just going to let everybody know that we got a crap load of stuff on our plate. And this is just one more. For me, more than Elisa, because Elisa just sits behind the mic for about 45 minutes and then everything else is on my plate.
Okay, but Elisa has other stuff to do in life before we leave.
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure that, I'm not sitting here just eating bonbons waiting for you to pack the bags.
I understand, but I got other stuff.
You have the technical stuff.
Yes.
So it won't be as long as our normal podcasts, but it was something that came up as we were preparing for this trip.
Right.
And I felt that it was really important that we share it with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you know, if you've listened to us for any length of time, we have had date nights. We have had vacations where things have not always gone as planned. And it usually revolves around electronics.
Right. In particular, computers, laptops, on the internet.
Cell phones, the smartphones.
Smartphones.
All right, let's put it this way. Elisa doesn't have a smartphone yet. I do not have one. Tony has a smartphone. So I am going to point a small finger over to the smartphone on the other side of the mics.
Right. But you have also sat on your computer hours at times.
Have.
So what we decided, and you know what, this decision didn't come up overnight. I actually approached Elisa and said, hey, you know what, I think it'd be a great idea if we just leave our laptops at home. Let's just not bring them. What for? I mean, we're going on a 7-day trip to Puerto Rico, all expense paid except for like lunches and some incidentals here and there. And I was like, you know what, this is a time for us to sort of rekindle that romance, that passion between us. Like when we were in love early on, sort of, making love 2 times a day, 2 different places, 2 different positions.
Okay.
That's my 2 for 2 for 2 goal.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to back up and just say that Tony is probably not going to hit that goal.
But I know without computers there or internet distracting us, it gives us a lot more time and the possibility of that happening.
I would shoot your goal for a 1x7, one every day for 7 days.
In 7 different places? Look, there's a jungle, there's beaches, there's jacuzzis.
That's probably TMI for these guys. They probably don't need to know that you're shooting for 7 different places. Although it fits into the whole change of scenery thing.
See, increase romance, increase passion, have a good time. The thing is we live in this digital age.
Absolutely.
We all know that. And I don't care if you do it every day at work or you're the person who wakes up in the morning and you're checking your stuff as soon as you wake up. Guilty as charged.
Me too.
I am, and I'm trying to rein that in, and I'm hoping this week will give me some clarity. But I will tell you, there are times when I will get up and Elisa will already be on her laptop. The kids are sort of running around and she's zoned in. And I get frustrated. And I know it goes the other way too. And in our marriages, it causes a little rift. Elisa and I know how to sort of work around it, and we know sort of what to say. But I think it also detracts from a lot of stuff that's happening in our lives.
Sure. And so, I know it's probably a week and a half ago that you broached the whole laptop thing.
Yeah. And your first reaction was?
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Total, full-blown. I mean, it wasn't like I had a panic attack, but I was just, the thought went through my head, what am I going to do without my laptop for a week.
Talk to me.
I
look and gaze into my eyes, make love.
Yeah, you put that whole gaze into your eyes. Somebody was talking about gazing into your eyes on Facebook today. I was like, what is that all about? I don't know, you were having a conversation with somebody about our trip. And
somebody wanted to come.
Oh, somebody wanted to come. And
I said, sure, as long as you're not in my room or gazing into my eyes.
I'm like, I've heard that phrase today. But, I scrapbook and I do digital scrapbooking. So I kind of thought that I was going to get a chance to do that. So the album would be done when we came back from our trip. And, I'm used to traveling with my laptop, whether I go for business or we go on our family vacations where I do the scrapbooking, and I just check email and we want to look up things. And I just, I guess it's kind of a grown-up security blanket. I have my laptop.
Right.
And so it provoked quite a bit of anxiety. Like, I'm even talking about it, I can feel myself getting like, ooh, we're really not taking it.
And our goal with this too is, you guys might be thinking, well, Tony has a smartphone. I am going to have it. We need to have it. Kids are not coming along with us. But the way we're going to get around that is it's going to be on silent, and it's going to sit in our hotel rooms safe.
Right, because I do not have a smartphone.
And there's no reason for it to come out on a beautiful beach or the jungle with us or snorkeling or anywhere else. We're at a 4-star resort. This is the first time for Elise and I to be doing the tropical island vacation in 14 and a half years. So it's time to get it on.
So I will have my phone with me, but that, again, is just an emergency. We need to be able to have contact because of our children. But so Tony, just to back up how I kind of came to this is going to be okay. Tony was gone this weekend doing solving. You guys heard about that on this week's last week as you're listening to this. And, really just got to thinking about it. I'm like, would it be so bad? Is the world going to come to an end if I don't have my laptop for a week? And I realized that that's not going to happen. I know it sounds like I'm overstating the obvious, but any of you out there that suffer from the same addiction that I do, and that's the electronic addiction, you like to be on Facebook, you like to check your email, you like to just, tool around the internet just for the sake of being on your computer, it has become a grown-up security blanket. Mm-hmm. And, Tony had posted up on Facebook today about the fact that we weren't going to be taking the laptops. And it was amazing. We've got readers and listeners who are talking that they do this regularly with their family. They take fasts from the electronics. And it's something that I would encourage all of you to do. I mean, I know when we had the whole date night fiasco with Tony doing a little too much twittering on date nights, you guys all came and, put him in his place. And I wonder how many of you, just in your day-to-day lives, maybe could make those decisions that maybe you're going to have an electronics-free weekend.
And I really, having done this for as long as we have and spoken and continue to speak to you guys, it was interesting because this past weekend when I was at Solvang, after the ride, because I was chilled to the bone, I jumped in the hot tub. And it was really interesting. My buddy and I jump in. Well, in the hot tub with us were a couple, a boyfriend and girlfriend, possibly married. I'm not too sure. But they were younger than I, and they're still in their like early 20s.
Okay, so it wasn't like they were teenagers.
No, they're early 20s, but the sort of that just has sort of
just
interaction,
being in the moment.
Yeah, that interaction that was happening. I mean, they were just so giddy, and I was looking at my buddy Bob, and I'm like, dude, what happens to that after years of marriage? And it was just interesting. We had this short but sweet conversation, and we talked about, just really getting away as our marriages grow. We need to just get away from everything and everyone for a while, because we need to look at each other. We need to spend time with each other and sort of dig back in to our souls like we used to. And as much as I know Elise and I try to do it, and you guys do it, talking to each other, having those good, deep conversations that we discuss a lot about, be it about your spiritual life, your finances, your sexual life, whatever it might be, we still have those distractions around us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's during this time, going on vacation, maybe it's not as long as ours, but maybe it's over a long weekend or something, that we just unplug, get away from it all.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here not to say that we're really good at it, because we've failed miserably every time. I can remember the last 2 vacations we've taken, family vacations, but the computers are there, and we're sitting up late at night looking at each other behind laptops. And maybe we should, instead of looking at each other behind laptops, maybe Elisa should be sitting on my lap in front of a fire and us just giggling and having a good time.
No fires, tropical. We're not doing. Well, bonfire, but
They can have an outside fire.
Okay, yeah. There's probably a fire pit or two.
Sure. It's a 4-star resort. I would think they would. They could have a bar or grill inside with a fireplace.
That's true. That's true.
So
I just hadn't thought about fires.
We're doing this because, you know what? We need a break.
Mm-hmm.
We need a break. We've been podcasting now for 67 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We have this vibrant, awesome community, you guys, who we truly just love and are just so blessed to have you guys here. We really are. I mean, I don't know if we say that enough or if it comes across enough, but gosh, if it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't exist.
So true.
But at the same time, we need to recharge our batteries
Mm-hmm.
so that we can come back to you guys with a whole new light, refreshed, ready for life, ready for marriage again.
It's like taking a sabbatical.
Yeah.
A short sabbatical, but it's exchanging that electronic oversaturation.
Yeah, that need for electronics.
And it is, it's like I was writing up the show notes and I realized, I've worked on my sugar addiction. You guys have heard about that, and that's gone really well. And I realized as I was typing up the show notes tonight that, the next addiction is probably the electronics one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be probably harder for me than the sugar. And the sugar was ridiculous. But Tony's right. And so, when we had the conversation, he comes home and I sit down, I'm like, okay, so I've come to a decision about, the computers. And it's like, well, I've been thinking about it too, but you go first. And so that's when I said, laptop staying here. He goes, okay, well, I won't even bring up what I was thinking. So I have no idea what his thoughts were. It was probably some modified, thing with the laptops. But, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to not having that like, oh, I need to get up and check my email. I'm sure there's probably a computer at the resort if I really need to check email.
Yeah.
But, it's going to be a vacation responder. It's going to be, you know what? My husband and I are enjoying Puerto Rico. Would love to get your message. So please, leave a message at the beep and we'll talk to you when we get back.
For all of you, though, listening this week,
this doesn't count for you.
Hit us up.
Because you can still call.
I would love for you guys to call us, 858-876-5663. Or you can hit me up at asktony@oneextraordinarymarriage.com.
Or ask Elisa at oneextraordinarymarriage.com.
I mean, light it up for us. Really. We would love to come back and hear what your week has been and what you're doing in your marriage. We
know that we won't respond to you next week while we're gone.
Yeah, but
we want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you. We would love it. We'd love to come back on Saturday and just go, all right, or next Monday or whenever we attack our emails and just go, wow, look what's happening. And tell us the good stuff that's happening in your marriage too. A lot of you we're continuously praying for you.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of tough things going on right now. And I know you're seeking, and we're glad you're here listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope that we can give you some guidance, but know that we're constantly praying for you guys.
Absolutely.
But it would be rad to come back home and have a bunch of emails and voicemails from you guys.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, ooh, that would be fun to like show up on Saturday and be like, oh my gosh, look at how many people we heard from while we were gone.
Yeah.
It's definitely been, it's hard to believe it's this weekend. Actually,
Yep.
we will be there when you guys are listening to this, because we found out just this past Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
It was Thanksgiving Day that we found out we were going, and so I'm so excited, and really looking forward to this time.
Yeah.
With Tony, just us. We took the kids out for dinner tonight, and we're sitting there watching them do all of their stuff, just the sibling back and forth and touching each other, and I just looked across the table at Tony and said, "Do you realize that we're gonna have a week of not?"
You said that?
Well, I tried to.
Oh,
Abby,
you just went into that. I'm like, really? You said that? Because
well,
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I was like, well, I think I got out. Do you realize? And what I wanted to say is, do you realize we're gonna have a week of not having to deal with this? But at that point in time, Abby looks over at you and she's like, "Staring contest."
Oh, right there at that point.
Right there at that time. So
I was gonna say, because I don't remember that happening.
It's been a long night already, but we're gonna wrap this up.
We got that voicemail.
Oh yeah, play the voicemail.
We still got stuff. We're not going to wrap it up just yet. Hold on.
You're the one telling everybody you got so much to do.
I understand, but we still got a podcast to talk
okay.
to. Folks, talk to you here. Hold on. I got all this stuff I got to set up here. All right, here we go.
Hi, Tony and Lisa. This is John from Memphis, Tennessee. I am a recent listener within the last 6 months and have been playing catch-up on your podcasts. Tony and I have actually emailed back and forth, but just wanted to thank you for the encouragement that you guys are to everybody. My wife Kate and I have been married for 5 years this June, and I want to encourage everybody to learn how to communicate with their spouse. That is key. Set expectations. Don't be afraid. Take your vows seriously. If you meant it what you said on the day that you got married in terms of, I'm going to be with you forever, period, end of discussion, you got to learn how to talk. And my wife and I did that within the last 6 months, and it has truly changed our marriage. It is. I don't fear talking to my wife now. I don't fear communicating with her.
Nice.
It has been wonderful. And you guys hit the nail right on the head when you got to sit down and talk and not be afraid of communicating with your wife. My wife and I, Kate and I, have a scheduled night where we sit down and we talk, and we have the intimacy of the whole 9 yards, and it is wonderful. And I wish everybody had that. And I also wanted to recommend a book. I don't know if you guys have ever read it or not, but a book called His Needs, Her Needs was revolutionary and kind of showing me as a husband and as a daddy where I was failing and where I was succeeding and what I needed to get better on. And just want to tell you guys, keep up the good work. I love you. We pray for you regularly. And if there's ever anything you need, Tony's got my email address, and I will do what I can. Love you guys, and hope you have a great vacation. Thanks. Bye.
Nice.
It was so nice to hear "Love you guys" sent back to us. Oh, sorry about that. A couple things out of that voicemail. One, I was struck by the importance that they have put on a night each week that they sit down and talk to each other. You guys know that we have that because we share those conversations with you. But to hear another couple that is saying, you know what, this is so important, we're scheduling it. Yeah, ranks right up there with going to the doctor and going to work and, everything else. It has a date on the calendar. And, Dan also said, he's like, I'm not afraid to talk to my wife anymore.
And here's the thing, though. Been married 5 years, and this just happened 6 months ago. So, as you can see, this happens not only in mine and Lisa's marriage or John and Kate's, but many of our marriages. This happens. And I think John put it very nicely, which is what Elisa was alluding to there.
Yeah, there is a lot of fear in relationships. We have that fear of, are we going to say the wrong thing? Are they going to get mad?
While on the computer.
On the computer, yes. When they're being distracted by something else. But when you make communication a priority in your marriage, when you, like what we're going to do next week is you say, you know what, these things are going to be off. This is what we're going to do. It allows you to build up that trust, to build up that foundation, to recharge, if that means you have to unplug all of those things, to say, you know what? I can tell you anything, or I can ask you anything. And while there might still be some anxiety about bringing up certain topics, you know that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know that the two of you have a strong enough foundation. You know where your basis is, that you're going to be able to walk through whatever the conversation is. It
Right.
may not be easy. There are lots of difficult conversations out there.
Right.
But when you can get to the point in your marriage where you're not afraid to talk to each other, think of the power in that. The decision that we are going to make communication such a priority that it's going to have a date on the calendar.
Yeah. And it might be one of those things, and I'm thinking from a athletic endeavor, pursuit, event, that, you know, when I train up for a double century or any type of cycling event, there's a set date on the calendar that I'm training up for, and I look at that date and I work backwards to, okay, how am I going to train? That might be something you may need to look at in your own marriage when it comes to communication. If you're having difficulty talking, maybe you do set up that long weekend or an overnighter, and by that date, though, you're talking about specific things and you're opening up. So when you get to that point of this overnighter, it's a jubilation. It's a celebration. It's a thing that the two of you can go out there and have a fantastic time together and really connect in sort of this party atmosphere of, hey, look what we accomplished. You know, so it might be one of those things where you're going, 3 months from now, this is the date. I'm putting it on the calendar. Honey, this is what we're doing. You're talking together, and you work towards that. You know, it's sort of it's a challenge that you guys set out there for each other and that you work towards, just as I do as an athlete, as a cyclist, going on to do a double century.
Yeah. I mean, every couple is going to be different in terms of how they approach that. I love the idea of one night a week.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, we know another couple from our church that talk regularly, and we've talked about them before, where they, you know, have the conversations about keeping their slate clean.
Right.
You know, and so they have regular time where, you know, if there's anything bothering either one of them, they talk it out. You know.
Yeah. They wipe the slate
clean. They
clean.
wipe their slate clean. So there's no garbage hanging around.
Right.
You know, threatening to poison the relationship. And, you know, for some of you, this is an awkward thing to even think about. For some of you, the idea that we would even go on electronics fast for the next week is a difficult thing for you to think, you know.
Oh, I'm sure we're going to have stories for you guys.
You know.
I'm sure we will.
We've already been warned by some good friends that, you know, the first couple of days are going to be, you know, serious withdrawal.
Yeah, but it'll give us a lot more time for the 7 Days of Sex Challenge.
Which I didn't even know we're doing, but apparently we're doing the 7 Days of Sex Challenge. This will be like
the
warm up.
Yep. Just getting ourselves ready. Training. Yeah, we got to do a 60-day again.
Okay, yeah, that was my jaw hitting the ground because I'm trying to figure out 60 days. While we're podcasting with all of this stuff to do is probably not the best time to bring up the 60 days of sex again, because I'm like, look at Lisa's ears, you know, or hair pop out.
Yeah.
But we're throwing out some things this week that are probably uncomfortable.
They're uncomfortable for us.
Trust me. I still have anxiety about leaving my laptop here at home.
Yep.
I do, and I'm going to be honest with it. And, you know, maybe that's because my priorities are out of whack. Maybe that's because I'm used to carrying that crutch around.
Maybe you got to talk to me for too long.
Maybe that's it. You know, the idea of, but there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of other people around, so it's not like I have to only talk to Tony for a week. You know, and we've got a lot of fun things that we want to do, so it's going to be nice to not have that distraction. I mean, I cannot, even though I'm nervous about not bringing it along with me, I am excited about just freeing up that time to spend together. Maybe we're not talking the whole time. We're just doing.
Reading. hanging out,
reading, hanging out, exploring Puerto Rico, doing things together that don't involve anything plugged in.
Right.
And so, take a look at your marriages this week. Take a look and see if maybe you need a weekend off. You need to have a power outage where, the smartphones go off, the laptops go off, and you just say, maybe it's 24 hours. Maybe a weekend is frightening. You've mastered date night. Like, the phone doesn't happen on date night because you've heard enough horror stories from these two microphones to know that the phone on date night is a no-no. But, maybe 24 hours. You pick a Saturday and you're like, you know what? From the time I get up until Sunday morning or, Sunday after church, not doing the phone. Or maybe it's Sunday. Maybe you just make Sunday your Sabbath and it's, a day of rest from everything, including electronics. And that means the TV and the computers. You will survive. I can tell you because my family has survived without the TV. I will survive without my computer. Tony will survive without the smartphone. So if you don't get Twitter updates, tweets from Tony this week, if you don't see posts on Facebook this week, you know that we haven't dropped off the face of the earth. We're just on sabbatical.
So for those of you who are listening, the first one that hears this, could you please post this on Facebook on the One Extraordinary Marriage fan page?
Oh, that's right.
Could you put that up there for us?
We might have to find a computer on Tuesday.
Nope. Somebody can do it for us.
Okay.
I know we got awesome fans out there. Somebody will put it up there and just say, hey, Tony and Elisa wanted me to put this up. And
that would be great.
Whoever does that, thank you.
I don't know.
Because I'm not doing it.
Can we throw out a bone if somebody does that?
First person who does it, an ebook.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Ebook or audiobook, your choice.
Your choice. Sure. Love it. I'll do it.
That would help. That would definitely help us. Of course, you'll have to wait till we get back to receive
Heck, if you want to take over the fan page this week, go for it.
We'd love it. We'd love it. You guys, get some conversations going out there. If there's a question,
throw your questions out.
Throw a question out.
Have fun. We know many of you, trust all of you to know what the One Community is about. Mm-hmm. So you guys can self-regulate.
I'm sure we'll find out about it if things get too crazy.
Yeah.
But have fun this week. We will be having lots of fun, and we're gonna come back refreshed, excited. I'm sure there will be lots of podcast topics that come out of this week. So be prepared for an exciting
rest of the year.
Oh wow!
Hey, we got 7 Days of Sex Challenge coming up too, that we got to put on the calendar.
We got to put on the calendar.
So,
if you want to join us, do the 7 Days of Sex Challenge next week. Apparently, we're going to be doing it. But again, we love you guys, and we thank you for keeping the community going while we're taking this week of rest. And just know that you're appreciated. We'll be thinking about you and praying for you, and having some of those conversations will probably be about one and
where we want to go.
Where we want to go with it. And so we thank you for giving that to us, because like Tony said at the beginning of the podcast, we wouldn't even be dreaming about where one is going to go if it wasn't for the fact that you guys have carried us this last year.
Yep. So have a fantastic week, you guys. We love you.
Thanks for listening to the One Extraordinary Marriage podcast. We would love to hear from you. You can go ahead and give us a call at area code 858-876-5663 or send us an email to info@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. The website is oneextraordinarymarriage.com, and while you're there, you can sign up for our Marriage Minute Monday newsletter, and you can also purchase Tony and Elisa's new book, Stripped Down. It's available now in print, audio, and ebook formats. Also, the One Extraordinary Marriage podcast has sponsorship opportunities available now. If your business is interested in sponsoring this podcast, please contact us at oneextraordinarymarriage.com.